Will the rental boom continue? Rents are increasing at a rapid pace, but why is this happening and is it sustainable? Now, one of the things that people are scared about is rent controls or rent caps. These are come in places like Scotland already, but at the moment, even with the rental reform that's going on in the UK, there has been no mention of rent caps. So are rents going to keep going up forever? So it's no secret that over the last few years, rents have been increasing at an exponential rate. And this has been caused by several factors. The first one is a huge amount of pent-up demand for people that have been wanting to move house, but have just chosen not to do it because of the whole COVID pandemic. After the pandemic, they now have the time and the funds to be able to move properties. And so there's a lot of demand for properties right now, but there's not enough supply of properties at the moment. And talking about supply, in the UK, we have a chronic undersupply of rental properties. And what that means is we just don't build enough houses every single year to match the increasing in demand. As a result of that, the rents continue to increase because there's just too much demand looking for those same number of houses. After the pandemic, it's also become much more financially appealing for people to be looking to rent properties rather than to buy properties. And one of the reasons for that is because obviously there's a lot more flexibility involved. And the other reason for that is because right now the mortgage rates are much higher than they used to be. And as a result, it's much more expensive to own your own home, but actually relatively a lot cheaper to rent a property at this moment in time. And the final reason that rents have been increasing is because the quality of properties has been slowly going up because of the build to rent boom. The build to rent boom is basically a whole bunch of landlords building properties so that they can rent them out. And that means there is a number of accommodation on the market right now that is of really good quality. As the quality of the accommodation increases, obviously the rents will also increase to reflect that. Going forward, we expect that the higher mortgage costs are going to keep home ownership out of the reach of the majority of people. So that means that more and more people are going to continue to rent year on year. And because of the cost of living crisis as well, it just means that people are finding it much more difficult to save up the money that they require for the deposit to buy their own properties. Ultimately, what this means is that the demand for properties to rent is going to continue to increase. In fact, a study by the NRLA, the National Residential Landlords Association, that demand is currently a third higher than the 5-year average, and there's not that many schemes or policies in the works to change that anytime soon. And ultimately, there's also going to be a demand for longer term rentals. People want to own their own property. They want the security of being able to stay in a property for a long period of time, but they just can't afford to own. And as a result, what they're going to do is they're going to start looking for longer term rentals, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, rather than the usual 6 to 12 month tenancy agreements. In 2023, the rents increased 10% year on year, and in 2024 we expect those rents to also continue to increase, but probably between 5 and 6% year on year. So the rental increase is slowing down, but we do expect the rents continue to increase over the next few years. Remember to like and subscribe to learn more.